G'day guys, welcome to Primal Waters. Today I'm going to tell you a pretty scary encounter with a great white shark. This story was told to me from my dad when I was fairly young about his mates who encountered a huge 6 metre great white shark while they were out fishing just out from where I live. Now, I live in a city about 2.5 hours north of Adelaide in the Upper Spencer Gulf. We've got a beautiful fishing area, and the main fish our locals normally fish for out here are the big snapper or the whiting. And this encounter happened during the night while Dad's mates were out snappering one night. Now, I've been out fishing in this area a fair bit. It's been a while since the last time I did do it, but I used to go out with my brother-in-law a lot. I used to go out at night and go after snapper. And I think all the times I went out, the only sharks I actually saw out there were once a hammerhead and a thrasher shark. So I've never encountered a great white. My brother-in-law has. He's seen quite a lot of them out there. Now, the Upper Spencer Gulf area, particularly with the snapper, so I'm not too sure what season it happens, but large schools of snapper head up into the Upper Spencer Gulf, and normally you get the great white sharks follow the snapper schools up, and normally these sharks are probably around about 3 to 5 metres in length. They're not the biggest sharks. They're probably these sharks are in between still eating fish and going after seals. Normally the big 6 metre ones are out down Port Lincoln Way after seals and sea lions, but occasionally you hear stories of these big ones being sighted just out from my town. So, but I'm kind of hoping in sometime this year that I'll plan a trip with him to go out and do some fishing with him, and hopefully something might actually rock up and I can get it on film for you guys, but we'll have to try and work that out. But anyway, this story I have mentioned before, but I want to go over it again for those of you who are new to the channel. Now, this happened back in the 80s. A couple of Dad's mates, they went out snappering one night out one of the wrecks just out from where I live. And the first night they caught they caught quite a few of their fish. And they had a good night's fishing. They packed up and cruised back on their boat back to town. And the next night they decided they wanted to go out to that same wreck again. So they all went out there that night. And that night they got no bites, nothing. So they're out there for a while, so they caught it the night, went back home. The third night they went out again, no bites. I think they only caught the one snapper. So they caught the night again and cruised back. They were kind of a little bit puzzled about, what's going on. They had their first night was a good night of fishing, and then suddenly there's no schools or snapper. And normally if that happens, that means something big's lurking around down there, scaring the schools and scaring the schools of snapper off. So they decided to go out there for the fourth night, and they were out there for a while, got absolutely no bites. So they've called it, and I said, no, that's it. Obviously the school of snapper have moved on. Now these guys were starting to pack up, and obviously they got the lights on at the back of the boat, and the boat they're out on was around about 18 feet long. And as one of the guys went to the rear of the boat to pull the burley pod up, they heard a splash, and as they shined the torch into the water, this massive great white shark rolled on its side with half its head hanging out of the water and kind of cruised slowly past the boat looking at them. They all stood there probably amazed at what they were seeing and also scared at the same time. They said the shark was as big as the boat, and like I mentioned before, this boat was 18 foot, so around about 5 metres. So they're probably looking at a shark that they've just seen to be around about 6 metres in length. So, this scared the absolute out of them, if I could say. And I'm not too sure if my old man told me if they cut the anchor line and took off, because it pretty much scared them. It was a fairly big shark, and like I said, it was as long as their boat. So normally we don't really hear of the big sharks this way. Like I mentioned before, normally the smaller great whites come up and follow the schools, but every now and then you might hear a report of a 6 metre hanging around out there. But it's pretty scary. Great whites and orcas are known to is an IHOP, I think. They stick their head out of the water, got good sight out of the water. They normally have a look on the shore to see what's hanging around on there. And obviously this big great white shark was having a look at them, and I think I'd say it would have scared the living daylights out of me, shining a torch and just see this huge great white shark's head sticking out of the water looking at you. It's a bit like in Steve Alten's novel The Meg. I think a few times the Meg in that would stick its head out of the water and have a look around and that. So, but we hear many stories of encounters of great whites out there, and normally they're pretty peaceful and pretty amazing, and people who get to witness those are very lucky. I haven't yet, and hopefully one day that could change, and hopefully I can get that on footage and be able to share it with you, because it's pretty cool knowing that we actually got these sharks just out where I live, so which is fantastic. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Thank you for tuning in. Drop a comment down below, hit that like button, share this video. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.